All right, welcome back to Cooking Conspiracy, and we're gonna make a Thursday night dinner. We're gonna do some sort of easy seafood pasta here. So I got shrimp, mussel, clam, squid, just frozen from the grocery store. Thawed it out in a bowl of water over about an hour, so it should be ready to go. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get cooking. Not gonna do a whole lot of choppy today, but I like rituals and I like burning time. What's going on, Lakita? Welcome. How's your day been, Lakita? Hopefully good. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna prep all our ingredients. I got a pot of water, coming up temperature in the other room, so that will be ready to go. This will move fairly quick once everything's ready to go. So a little preparation goes a long way on this one. What type of machine? Seafood pasta. You get seafood medley, whatever you want to call it. Let's do about 3 big cloves will be about right for this. Oh, now are you a coworker? Do you and Dottie work together? Are you coworkers? I mean, she ain't a fan of seafood though, so might ruin my shot with her. Fair enough. Fair enough. Dallas is cool. Haven't spent a whole lot of time in Dallas. I have spent a good amount of time in Wichita Falls and a little bit in Fort Worth, to be honest. I'm sure she does. Although I still don't think she's going to eat your clam based on her seafood stance, but garlic peel. That's all we're going to use. I might use a little bit more actually. Turbo peel. But we are all going to have to scoop that out. So just give it a little bit of a crush. I think that'll help it release some of the oils or garlic juice, whatever you want to call it. But I still should be able to scoop it out fairly easily. Once we get cooking. I'm on the fence between using tomato sauce and tomato paste. We're going to use the tomato sauce. I feel fairly confident that it'll work out. The goal on this recipe is to keep it as simple as possible, alright? We'll save one stalk for finishing, or a little bit for finishing. But the rest of it we're going to want to mix in, so we're going to dice it up pretty good. Get a lot of the shaft off. That parsley will give it kind of a little bit of freshness. It'll be good. Something just about lemon, parsley, and seafood that just go together really, really nicely. Just a little seafood linguine, more or less, Lakita, yeah. And don't beat the shit out of your parsley. You don't want to leave all the flavor on the cutting board. But just give it a quick run through. And that's good to go. Nice and fresh. Alright. So we got garlic, we got our tomato sauce open, we got our parsley, we got a little bit of white wine of some sort. Well, what's going on, buddy? No cilantro, it's parsley. Oh man, is that Swally? I can't tell who that is, but they seem to like me. Oh. We got our garlic here. We'll just store the garlic in a nice American shot glass for now. Got a little bit of lemon here. That should be plenty. We got our seafood here. Let's get to it. Let that warm up a little bit. Aw, thank you. Got water boiling in the other room. So we're ready to cook. This one's going to go quick. It's going to be very, very simple. Very, very simple. We'll see. I'm not sure exactly when to add the tomatoes versus the seafood. And it's the first time I've ever done this with frozen, but... a French 75, which is basically a Tom Collins, but instead of soda water, you top it with sparkling wine. Like right now, I got Prosecco in it, so I guess it ain't really that French. But you got a shot of gin, half ounce of simple syrup, ounce of lemon juice, or I just use a full lemon. Put it in a shaker with ice, shake it up. Then you can add, the sparkling wine to the shaker and then pour it over ice, stir it up a little bit, pour it over ice so it doesn't foam up as much, or just strain the shaker into a Collins glass over ice, and then add up, top it off with the Prosecco or champagne or sparkling wine or whatever you got. I don't know. We'll probably get pretty frustrated with people bitching about not real problems. But maybe all them kids that took out, and I say kids, 24 to 44-year-olds that are still bitching about student loan, that took out their degrees in society, communications, sociology, psychology. Maybe they all can become bartenders and put those skills to use and start paying down their debt. Got them. Seriously, don't put the paying off student loan on the backs of the working class. That's bullshit. Thanks, Biden. You go to college, borrowing money, you should pay it back. I don't see the trade school people complaining. But, all the college people always look down on the trade school people, Huh. I'm not a huge fan of catfishing, but, maybe they deserved it. Cheers. Yeah, that's a lot. But, after, going back and forth for a few months, I think y'all are, contributing to society, though. Not sitting around smoking pot and not doing anything, though, yeah? And you both are very successful people, yeah? I don't know, I'm just really big into live and let live. I'm not going to tell y'all how to live your life, but don't tell me how to live mine, and don't make me ask, people that didn't go to college to subsidize your choices. And also, let's talk about all the bloat that is in higher education, Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But I think a lot of the problem is the federal government has gotten into it and has screwed up the touche, Ryan. But the government comes in and subsidizes all these colleges and then subsidizes all these loans, and they screw up the interest rates. Where back in the day, to get a loan, you had to say, well, this is what I'm studying. I expect to make this much money, and I'll actually have a plan to pay it back. But now in America, you say, oh, well, I want to go to college, blah, 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 blah. And it's like a blank check with no expectation of payback. And then people go to school, they change their major, 14 times every time they fail a class or whatever. It's just ridiculous. But the price of higher education has really got out of hand. And there is so much bloat. How many school administrators exist that don't need to exist? How much bullshit do you pay for in higher education that you don't need, that nobody needs? Yeah, let's take the word student loans out of it and change it to business deal or commitment or whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be, people are going to think a little bit differently. All right, garlic in. I'm just going to let it sizzle. We don't want to burn it. Oh, yeah, well, you've already rubbed yourself raw tonight, bloody boy, so good for you, buddy. Well, that's effectively what it is. It's saying, hey, I have the confidence that going to school here or this gives me the skills to pay back, It ain't it ain't a handout. People made a deal, and I get it. I think the public schools are a lot to blame about pushing the college for everybody, and everybody has to go to college, so it artificially inflates it, creates a bubble, and the system's screwed up while they shit on the trades and all that. Understand. And then you got 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are being told by adults, mentors in their life that should know better that, hey, you know, you have to go to college, and going to Mid-Michigan Western State Technical School just because it's college is so much better than becoming a plumber or a welder or mechanic or whatever. And then they don't know what they're signing up for, and I feel bad for those people, you know? But, yeah. But how many people, you know, have a college within commuting distance? Exactly, right? You gotta know how to service the debt. But like, how many people have a college, 4-year degree that would fit what they want to do within commuting distance, or a community college that they could go to for 2 years, knock out the basics? But no, they want that college experience of Central Michigan. You know, fire up chips, not bagging on the Chippewas here. But, you know, let's be honest here about the situation. You know, you want the college experience, or do you want, you know, the price tag of community college? Pick your poison, you know. Also, if you're at the YA side in Mount Pleasant, you're probably going to get syphilis or chlamydia. It can be, Kevin. Veins, like anything you make of it, you get in what you put out, you know? Okay, I'll consider adding butter here in a minute. No, but, yeah, not quite, buddy. Mixed opinions on that statement, Lakita. I'm gonna go throw this into boil. That's gonna set our timer of shit we gotta get done in 10 minutes here. Let's get to work. Alright, this is for the butter guy out there. Get that in there. I only got about 10 minutes for everything to come together. You can always put your pasta in later, but good conspiracy that your mom's so ugly that, you know, Bigfoot doesn't exist. They've just been taking pictures of your mother, Tony. But, you know, and you'd probably live it if you live in Oregon. Otherwise, I got the wrong Tony. Sorry. I mean, I would say probably Ivy League. You know, you do the bare minimum. You're kind of buying that network. I think that's bullshit. But I think there's a lot of good schools. Like, you know, you don't need to go to Princeton. You don't need to go to Harvard. But if you go to Michigan State, you go to Penn State, you go to a good state school, you study hard, have a plan, commit to it. I mean, I think things are going to work out pretty good for you, you know? Where the hardest part about the Ivy Leagues is getting in, you know? Yeah. Seafood in. The reason I put the garlic in beforehand was just to flavor the oil. And I don't have to worry about it burning or anything like that. Seafood, we're going to... squid's going to take a little bit longer to cook than anything else, but, you know, that can't be helped. Guacamole last night was excellent, you know. I do need a haircut. I'm not going to hate on anywhere on wearing a size 14, but I'm just saying there's a reason that the Gap is backing off and they're big and tall and ordering XXX L in every side, in every thing they wanted. We'll cook the seafood. We're gonna make sure it cooks. Just get some tomato sauce in there. Yep. A little bit of red pepper, or you could use black pepper if you want. I like the flavor of red pepper better, so that's why I'm using that. Like I said, I'm screwing around. I've never used frozen seafood. I'm never using the frozen seafood medley here, so. Oh, I appreciate it, Ryan. You know, give it a try. Let me know how it goes, you know. And I got it heated just over medium. I'm keeping it moving around, you know. A little bit worried about overcooking the seafood, but, you know, I got a contingency plan. Let's call it, add a little bit of white wine. I happen to have Prosecco open, so that's what I'm using. Let's turn down the heat. And we're just going to let that reduce until the pasta is ready to go in, and that's going to be excellent, you know. You know what? I'm preparing if I need a Reaper, but I don't need it. I don't want to overpower, you know, the seafood flavor. The chili powder isn't going to do that, so that's why I went with the chili powder versus the Reaper. Because, I want to be a douchebag and prove how hot of pasta I can eat. No. Use the Reaper peppers where they belong in Mediterranean style pasta. Yeah, no. They're either Reapers or they're ghost pepper. I'm not sure which one. I lost the tag. Thank you, Tony. But now we just are going to let the sauce reduce, and they'll be good to go. I'm gonna make sure I got a bowl to serve it in, so I gotta go wash a dish real quick. I'll be back. What's up, Red? Clippings going after. Hold on, I gotta review. There's more bare feet to be authentic. Maybe some 13. Jesus, what did I miss? Did I cook what? Yeah. Well, thank you, Tony. I'm just cooking my dinner. Yeah, It's a little bit too much liquid, so I do want to reduce that down before the pasta goes in. I think my seafood's probably about cooked. Let's give it a tester though. Yeah, if you ever cook your seafood, it'll become rubbery, but you definitely don't want to do. This is not a situation where a rubber has good connotations. I'm not sure there is one, but mushroom, shrimp, and squid, I think. Parsley in. I mean, this is experimental, you know. Don't take this one for gospel, but first time I've ever used frozen for this shit. For this, I mean, you know, the different seafoods, you know, cook at different rates and all that. Yeah. No. He means these guys, mussels. Last time I've cooked mussels, they were fresh, alive, and in their shell versus shitty frozen pasta. But, you know, that's our seafood section. What's up, real deal? Not gonna need it, but I got a little bit of pasta water to dilute things, so probably should have just added the seafood in a little bit later. I'm afraid it's gonna be a little bit rubbery, but well, I don't know, I do respect the pirates, you know. And I think it's bullshit because the federal government acts like pirates and then they say pirates are bad. But, you know, then the federal government is out here stealing all of our money. A little bit of lemon juice won't hurt it. Let's go drain our pasta and introduce it together. People are people, buddy. Flavor's gonna be good. I'm afraid I'm a little bit nervous about the texture of the seafood, but it'll be alright. Thank you, Toby. Yeah, I believe he's some sort of simp, probably a cuckold. Probably the reason they got cuckold chairs in hotel rooms, you know? Probably contributes nothing to society. Probably is so bloody because he's been jerking off so hard and is spouting out blood all over his hotel room and his cuck chair that he's, couldn't even find anybody to cuck with. So, but hey, you want to come in here and just, judge people based on what they look like? We can do that, bloody boy. What kind of name is that anyways? And also, are you still waiting for your dad to get back from buying cigarettes? Probably. Well, you're probably an expert on how to maximize your SNAP benefits, Bloody Boy. But you're a peasant, and lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. Enjoy your cuck chair, buddy. I'm not really well researched into the matter, Ryan, to be honest. But on the surface level, I'll say they're probably more bullshit you add, more bullshit you get. Does it hurt you? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, a dork that makes 6 figures, Bloody Boy. Enjoy, And I haven't, bled all over my bedroom from pulling on myself. How'd you get the name Bloody Boy? Is that like a cool nickname? Like, oh, yeah, I'm Bloody Boy. Oh, I'm such a hard ass. Oh. And maybe played Vice City once, and doesn't concern you, buddy. Just working for Uncle Sam, bitch. Now you're just looking. This one's for Tony. It's probably some sort of sexual deviant. Oh, yeah. You're the loser scrolling through YouTube, buddy. Keep jerking it. Who here thinks Bloody Boy is a loser? I do. I think Bloody Boy is a loser. Well, thank you, Scully. I do try to eat 3 meals a day. Yeah, I just don't know how to get started. I don't know what barriers to entry are in that industry, Kevin. Yeah, so I definitely cooked the seafood too long. But, dude, there's already an OnlyPants, and I love that channel. That chick's hot that runs it, No, that's already a thing, and like I'm pissed because I talked about having the exact same that she's cute and she does a lot of sexual innuendos and stuff. But I wasn't doing it first. I was doing it 3 years before she started, just with a camcorder. Oh yeah, look her up. She's hilarious. I think she was like a nurse or something, and started cooking, and people, of course, were perverts and making OnlyFans, and then she's like, "Oh, well, maybe I'll make an OnlyPans," and there you go. But her stuff's actually pretty entertaining. But yeah, definitely overcook the seafood. It's a little bit rubbery. But I'm a little bit upset about it myself, but that's okay because the flavor on the pasta is phenomenal. Yeah, well, Chuck Norris probably needs LASIK now, Leo. What's up, Boodog Vlog? I don't know. I don't think you ever had it, JFK, but if you gotta ask, it's not for you. What's going on, Tyrone? Welcome back. Herb Bay. Happy Hands Herbie, A little bit. Tried. The only thing I really got growing well right now is I got some cilantro. I planted some basil about 6 months ago. It grew, it died, but apparently it seeded itself because I got some random basil growing and some Thai basil growing as well. So, thanks. I mean, the shirt's blue and off-white. The only thing off-white in here is this clam. But yeah, festive seafood, yeah. Oh yeah, Thai basil has its place. I'm glad that I planted it, and it's doing very, very well here in this Hawaiian climate. So we'll see if it takes over the yard. Good morning, brown girl. How's life in India today? Chase the heat. What heat are we chasing here? Well, that sounds good, Ryan. I respect your patience. Thanks, just looking. Thanks for stopping by. What's going on, Eddie? Yeah. How to use frozen stuff, Eddie, so the timing's off, you know. Uh, well, this was kind of a Mediterranean dish tonight, yeah? Yeah, we've known Peter as a pervert for quite a while, JFK. If Peter is actually a real person, not just a, sub-personality or alias or whatever, what is possible? I did work out, well, I ran today. It wasn't that fast, but I did almost 5 miles, and 22 minutes of that was about an 8 minute pace or whatever. So definitely nothing crazy or whatever, but it was still exercise. Okay. Now is that like a bush or I'm not familiar with a salmon berry. I'm assuming it's just some sort of pink little berry, yeah? Yeah. Can't wait to have my hobby farm someday. And I think most berries, once you get them established, we all like bush here, Kevin. Yeah, maybe it's not everybody's favorite, but it's not a deal breaker. Well, what's wrong with being deep in the bush, you know? Some of us like hiking and camping. I believe it. You just gotta find them naturally and wild, you know? No, I believe it. Yeah, we're not bush haters here. Although sometimes you like going on a nice hike through nice manicured lawn or even a nice paved smooth path sometimes. Yeah, that's how you die of dysentery, Peter. No shit, that's dedication, you know? Best of luck to you, Ryan. Well, I've been Googling shit and it appears that if you have 5 years to burn, you can make a lot of money with ginseng. Yeah, not my style, Kevin, but maybe someday. Oh yeah, the hobby farm, yeah. retirement plan is work towards a pension and conservative investing in my Roth IRA and my employee 401k that gives a little bit of a match. Chili pasta. What type of protein are you looking on that, Kevin? We're not doing ghost pepper. No, I appreciate that, Devlin. Welcome back. Life is good. That sauce is excellent. Yeah, a little bit of ghost pepper, cooking a roast over, 8 hours. Yeah, that could put in, just it's still gonna give it some spice, but the right amount. No, glad to be of service, Jan. Hey, welcome, Wayne. Yeah, I mean the butter. I think the butter added a little bit of a thickening element to it. I'm not sure I can really taste it. I mean, but then again, I haven't done this in a while, so maybe I would notice it if I did a side-by-side comparison. I'll say the flavor was really, really good on that. I nailed the seasoning. The seafood was overcooked, so I got to figure out a different way to do it. So maybe I'll, fry the seafood right at the beginning, pull it out, and make the sauce, let the sauce reduce or whatever. Put the seafood back in the last minute or so, warm back up before the pasta, and I think that's probably how I would do it the next time. Well, it's also important to wash your hands before you pee on that situation, Ryan. Yeah, it's actually pretty close to my bedtime. I'll get the popcorn. But yeah, we'll get some sleep, Kevin. And you only get so many of them. And I mean, people who call in sick versus suffer through their hangovers, we call them losers. Oh, come on, Eddie. You know me better than that. Prosecco. Perché tutti Italia più meglio Francia. Fuck that up. I really gotta start studying Italian again. Oh, I agree. You gotta have a purpose. Idle hands create problems. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just off screen licking this bowl. It's very good. But the best part about this dish was like the flavor. And as you all saw, it was very, very simple. Oh, what conspiracy are we talking about? Well, I mean, I don't even think it's a conspiracy about screens. I mean, everything from Facebook to social media to even TV, you know, if you want to go back. What was the incident? I'm curious, Dylan. But all of the social media, streaming service, I mean, all of that is designed to maximize our addictions, so we keep paying for it. I mean, you think Netflix gives a fuck about our well-being? That's a conspiracy. Oh, we got a social contract with a bunch of libs that, you know, care about people, and we want life to be better for everybody. But no, just keep paying us when we raise, you know, our prices every other 2 weeks, you know? It does a lot good and a lot bad, Ryan, but I mean, from the outside looking in, I don't know if you're following this Middle Eastern trip, but I think you did a pretty good job there. Yeah, I ain't watching a long ass live stream, sorry, or replay, you know, what, you know, just tell the people what they want to know. But yeah, I mean, I think his trip with the Saudis went okay. Qatar, you know, trip went okay. You know, Boeing created, you know, got a good deal. Hopefully they fix their shit. I still think that's a company in trouble. What does that even mean, swatted? Huh. Yeah, I don't think he accepted the plane. I don't think he did, but I mean, let me ask you this, Ryan, though. I mean, would you rather your political leaders accept a bribe that everybody knows about? And one, it wasn't him accepting it, it was the Department of Defense. Or would you rather have something under the table? And I mean, is it really, do we really think that airplane is more ornate and well decorated and well stocked than Trump Force One? The guy already has a 757. Oh, yeah, I mean, but come on. Do we, any of us think that any world leader is not getting some sort of hookup? I'm just saying that guy had billions of dollars before he became a political leader. I'm a lot more trusting of them that are that way versus the people that got nothing and then they come out of office as billionaires. Oh, yikes. Yeah, you're right, Peter. I might have to review that one. I mean, what did he get arrested for? Yikes, that's a bummer. Yeah. But, you know, I'd rather the billionaire rip somebody else off beforehand than selling all our futures down the line. Eh. Bummer. Thanks, well. Looks like, you know, I got another channel that we share here, full of followers. Sounds like I got arrested or something. Oh, yikes. Yeah, well, I'll at least get a warning from the dogs before SWAT comes to my door. Yeah, I mean, I think this just goes to show that, the smaller the government is, the better. Nothing good ever comes out of bigger government. Lower taxes and a strong national defense. That's all what public policy needs to do. Cheers. Well, I mean, there's a lot of other departments that they can cut down on. I mean, it's just like the old proverb that strong fences make good neighbors. You know. I don't know about that, Ryan. I mean, I think it just comes down to, budgeting and depending on like what your priorities are. Do I care about, funding PBS in the Middle East? Not really. I don't know. I was talking about a 6-foot privacy fence here. I mean, but then again, do you know the difference between, a terrorist training camp and an elementary school? I don't know either. I just fly the drone. I mean, I really don't care about a lot of stuff, and I'm really big into live and let live until, but in your taxes, you get taxed more and more and more and more and more and more and more, and you're just paying for people who take more and more and more and more and more. Like, make it legal, make there a good process, make it fair. I mean, give people a chance to make a better life for themselves. But when you're talking about refugees and they all come in, there's only people men between the ages of 15 and 30. It's a little bit suspicious, don't you think? No, that escalated quickly. It'd be a real plot twist if there was a Peter in your life, actually a Peter in your life that has some knowledge of venereal disease in related context. That would be a curveball, Dylan. Well, it sounds like it might be possible. I mean, like, really, treat other people like you want to be treated. That goes a long way. Has that fallen out of favor, Ryan? It's kind of a classic old burn, though, when you work it into a conversation just kind of casually and imply somebody has VD. Sometimes an old school burn is pretty effective, just kind of like when your grandmother tells you, well, maybe someday if you study hard, you can be a veterinarian technician. Well, fuck me, Nana. Kind of on the fence about frying some of that seafood up here. Been kind of holding steady, you know. Lost about 10 pounds ish. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I might just be bloated right now and denying reality. Maybe just researching how can I score myself an Ozempic prescription. But, fuck it. Ran 5 miles today and felt good, so I'm okay with it. I mean, honestly, it's all the calories in liquids that's delaying my progress. Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. Just like, smoking can help a lot of people lose weight. Nice little appetite suppressant, a little bit of heart rate boost. I mean, would you rather have a population that smokes or that's morbidly obese? Only problem is when the morbidly obese also smoke. But you look at the populations that live forever, they're smokers. You look at the Mediterranean, everybody in the Mediterranean smokes. Old people included. Look at Asia, they smoke too. I mean, maybe we're missing something. Maybe we put a lot of blame on the tobacco industry that didn't belong. Maybe the tobacco industry studies were actually the real data. I mean, can anybody really argue that America's gotten healthier since we really, pounded on the tobacco industry and increased all these taxes? I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Maybe that's a conspiracy for the day. Is that that as the government has been punishing the tobacco industry, our people have gotten less and less healthy, so they can put more and more bullshit into our food system, and they control us, and then they blame it on cigarettes. Well, maybe that's not true. Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at quality of life, and I'm not talking chain smoke and sitting all day watching, what's the show, the antique swap meet, or the fortune teller lady. I'm not talking about that, but hey, going out and having a post dinner cigarette ain't gonna kill you. 20 a day might, pack a day might, but here and there, yeah. And also, the morbidly obese definitely definitely reduce the fuel efficiency of public transportation and airliners. If we didn't have the morbidly obese hanging around, our plane tickets would be cheaper. I would agree with that, Ryan. You know, or that walk, The smokers that get their 10,000 steps in a day, they're going to be fine. Price is Right is good. I remember, staying home from school, or when I was faking being sick or whatever. And then Price is Right came on at like 10:30 a.m. Game changed. Then you kind of had to hide from mom when Jerry Springer came on at about 2 p.m. That one was a good one. Usually you could get away with watching the Maury Popovich show or whatever the hell his name was. That was a good one too. Oh yeah. Well, I was, like growing up in my house, you could do whatever. If you were reading, you never got in trouble for, you had to, they kind of did this half-ass pretend to shut your lights off or whatever, but you could stay up as late as you want if you wanted to read books or whatever. And guess what? That's something I'm very thankful from my parents, is because they made me read as a child, and both me and my brothers are all very good readers, and as a result, we're productive members of society. So make your children read. Povich, yep. Thank you, Peter. And as a result, I don't have some dumbass name on YouTube like Bloody Boy or Bloody Boy or whatever. Ugh. Yeah, the libraries are a beautiful thing, And going back to the student loan piece from earlier, I think that's the biggest problem, is how much the middle class has been taken advantage of in that bullshit. You know? Good for you, Peter North. I hear they got some good articles. I think it's about time for me to go to bed here. I'm kind of tired. I'm full. Might have to turn the sprinklers off, but I don't pay for my water here, so life is good. My grass should look pretty green tomorrow. Thanks, Ryan. You as well. Hopefully you had a good day. Rassia, Dylan, just looking. Red, if you're still in here. Peter North, Eddie, yada yada yada. Thank y'all for joining. Kilkina, cheers to you and your garden. Siciliano, Chin Chin, Sicilia. Good night, friends.